ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेद्धि वेदस्य मणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासिः अनेनाद्धीतेन होरात्रान् समदधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So today is one half of that presentation we had the other day on the faculties of consciousness. It is their origin. Where do they come from, really? So the seeing, hearing, speaking, thinking, yes, what is the origin of them? We know that the origin is consciousness. It's by Brahman that we see, by Brahman we speak, by Brahman we think. So Brahman is the origin, Atman, yes, or Brahman. So in our definition here by Sri Aurobindo, so we have the material elements of matter. And when Shraddhala was presenting the descent from level to level, it was a material manifestation of the being. So beyond that material adhibhuta, there are adhidaiva, faculties of consciousness, which we didn't really address. We addressed only this kind of embodiment in the material form. But beyond, there are faculties. And beyond the faculties, above them, above the non-material powers, containing them, greater than they, is the self or spirit, Atman. So it is greater than them and it contains them. Interesting. Huh? So today we will look into this adhyatmic level of consciousness. So this innermost, this adhidaiva is generated from the core, from the nuclear. So it comes from this innermost self and being projected into the surface through these faculties. Yeah. Anytime you have a question or want to clarify something, you can stop me. So today we will look into this adhyatmic level. What is there beyond, where these faculties are coming from? So on adhyatmic level, by functions or operations, consciousness operates as samjnana, ajnana, vijnana, and prajnana. There is a longer list of these, actually. Yadetad hridayam manashchaitat samjnanam ajnanam vijnanam prajnanam medha drishtir dhritir matir manisha jutih smritih sankalpah kraturasu kamo vasha iti sarvanyevaitani prajnanasya nama dheyani bhavanti. This is the definition by Aitareya, and only 4 of them we take as our hint into the production of this, or generation of these faculties. So it's a very interesting list, and it requires maybe several sessions to look into, because each of those terms is loaded. Yeah? Manisha, matich, jutich, even the speed, sankalpa, intention, yeah? Kratu, willpower, and so on. But here we deal with these 4, and Sri Aurobindo deals with them. And so when I looked at these 4, I saw them origins of all the faculties. So on a Adhyatma level, we know them as mind, word, hearing, seeing, yes, manas and vak, chakshuch and shrotram, prana and apana. These are the faculties generated and known to us, embodied beings, as such. But there are secret operations beyond them, and they on the Adhyatmic level, and those operations produce or generate actually that what we know as mind, as word, as seeing and hearing. We never thought that we can even deconstruct these, yes? Mind, can you deconstruct mind or word where what is the very quintessential quality of the word or mind or hearing or seeing? What is the characteristic which is essential for that quality? No? I'm dragging you into some kind of unknown forest here.
Well, I mean, a vibration, I would say, some kind of, how do you say it?
Okay, defined by vibration, the difference.
Well, I mean, if I was a high school teacher and someone had to ask me what the mind was, I would say it's a vibration of sound.
Well, that is hearing, or the word at least.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, so let me stop there and let you take the lead, Vladimir.
No, well, no, it's good vibration. Let's start our exploration from any end. Doesn't matter. Matters where we arrive. Yes. So we kind of dwell upon it, think about it. So and to try to arrive at some kind of distinction between seeing and hearing, speaking and thinking. Yeah, and feeling and being in the body. These 6 major faculties have to be kind of deconstructed. We have to find their quintessential characteristics. I know that I'm kind of addressing something unknown to you, but that is the very, how to say, joy to discover the quintessential characteristic of the mind. What is mind doing? What is word doing?
Is it some sort of a knowledge that is coming down and coming into our intellect?
Intellect itself. What is intellect? Yeah, we need to deconstruct these things. We have to understand how consciousness operates. Through what means? By what movements? Yeah? And these movements of consciousness will generate what we know as word, mind, seeing, hearing. These are the operations, the faculties. But they are already in themselves the faculties. But beyond them, in the Adhyatmic, on the Adhyatmic level, they are still being formulated. They are not yet born, as it were. Their source. Yeah.
I'm not sure, Vladimir, if in Bhagavad Gita we have a definition, but in Ayurveda, I mean, I've heard the way the mind is defined is, as you mentioned before, it has the capacity of thinking, feeling, and willing, but that does not necessarily defines what a mind is. But in the Puranas, somewhere I have heard that mind comes from Anirudh. I mean, at least the deity Anirudh, but I think ultimately the question really boils down to what it means to say that Brahman can transform itself into many things. Ultimately, everything is Brahman, you mentioned. So then the question would be, how does that Brahman transform to become consciousness, mind, seeing, and hearing? I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, it requires a kind of a little deeper look. If you look at this kind of vision of the 6 faculties, we would see something. Yeah? We would see, for example, how manas and chakshuk are different from shrotram and vak. Yeah? So we examined this the other day, yeah? The difference between these two. So the word is expressing, it's vibrating. Shrotram is perceiving the vibration, the meaning, intention of the word. And on the other side, we see the seeing, the perceptive faculty, which is perceiving the form made by the manas. The form is being shaped or focused upon by the manas which seeing perceives. So manas is active, chakshuk is perceptive, shrotram is perceptive, vak is active. So we already defined this the other day. So now what we need to do, we need to understand the quintessential quality or characteristic of each of these. What the word is usually doing. Let's start with the word. It's the easiest, actually. What is the word doing? Speech.
Speech.
Defining the meaning or the relation of the object with everything else.
All right. Defining something, yes.
Giving
Defining some relations, very important word, relations. What is relations? Defining the relations between the object and subject, between objects, between subjects, defining relations. What is that relation which the word defines, and how it does define?
Expression.
Expression, very good. Expression of what?
Of the speech, of what you're trying to say, expression of the word, expression of the thought.
Could be. Expression of the thought, expression of what you want to say. What you want to say, what does it mean, what you want to say, actually? What is that, what you want to say?
the expression of what the divine is bringing into manifestation.
The divine brings into manifestation, sometimes in the best way. Sometimes you want to express something much more mundane. But what is that expression? What is being expressed, actually?
Can we say that it's a part of Brahman or a part of Shabda Brahman? As you said, described previously, if the whole universe is Shabda Brahman, then all the words are just some fabric or just a phrase from that Shabda Brahman. It's not the entire absolute truth, but it's a part of the absolute truth the word is trying to describe. I'm just trying to say, if we imagine the whole Brahman or truth to be some kind of object, then
Yeah, you can philosophize. Yeah, why not? It's lovely that all the. So, what are these relations? What is the expression? What is the quintessential, the central characteristic of the word? The word from the capital W, or the word has some logos. What logos is doing, actually?
Well, Vladimir, I mean, can we take an example like the word tree? I mean, so there's the word tree. So TREE, the syllables come together. My ahamkara, then it bumps up to the ahamkara, and I'm separate from the tree, Purusha Prakriti, and then the ahamkara goes up to the buddhi and says, I have experiences with trees, and all sorts of pictures come in. And yet I'm still either feeling I'm at one with I'm seeing the tree as myself, or I'm feeling separate from it's maybe I'm going in a different direction entirely, but I just
So,
thought.
what would be your definition then on this ground of the word, quintessential, central characteristic of the word? That's what we are looking for. What is the very gist, the very meaning of the word? Word as the what? What word is doing, actually?
Expression of your feeling.
expression of the feeling, expression of the thought. You're good, very good. The expression of something, yeah? Some feeling, thought. What are these? Where they are coming from? So there is something the word wants to express. Yeah?
Can we say the word is the reality?
Everything
Maybe
is a reality in our sense, but what is the word doing which others are not doing? What is the most essential for the word and not for the hearing, seeing, speaking, thinking? Oh, sorry, speaking is that word. So
Giving it
what? Yeah,
symbolic-
Sound?
It's giving a symbolic
sound is
form
good. Yeah,
to thought, hearing, seeing, perception. Giving a symbolic form to what is perceived, heard, sensed, felt, thought.
symbolic form it gives. Yes, so we were kind of staying with this expression of something in whatever form it expresses it, and in whatever language. There are many languages in which the word can express what. Feeling was good, thought was good, some
Sound? Sound?
sound expressing, okay, could be some sound expressing abstractly without any kind of, it expresses something for what? Why do we need to express that thing?
To communicate.
We want to communicate. Why do we? What is communication? Okay, let's unfold everything.
It's
We want to communicate something to someone, to something. Why?
to connect, to create more sense of oneness.
Right, to connect, to create sense of oneness. But I say to someone, come, look, go, sit. Why do I do this?
Well, that's will, to try and make something happen.
Right. Right. We arrived. I
Icha.
want to make something happen.
Yeah.
And it is very subjective, me wanting to make something happen with me or others or surrounding. It is the power of self-expression. I express myself in a particular need, want, intention. I want something. I will something. It's a power of will. It's logos which creates the worlds. It is that when the God said, let it be light, and there was light. That let it be light is the word. This is quintessential characteristic without which we cannot function, exist. There's nothing can be without this particular one faculty of consciousness, of self-expression. Self-expression in terms of intention, want, need, whatever it is, expressing thought, expressing feeling, expressing vision. Why expressing vision? Because I want something. I have an intention. I want to express the vision because I want the surrounding or the listener to react to that vision in a particular way that there will be maybe oneness, maybe difference, whatever the result, whatever I want to achieve. Yes, I have an intention to achieve certain result, and that's why I speak. I express myself because I want that reaction towards me. I want that connection, that communication. All that is packed in communication. Yeah? I communicate something because I want something. And that want is hidden, by the way. We never think about speech as want, as a need. Yeah? We speak only when we want something. Though we camouflage it into a very nice, let me tell you the story, and I will tell you the story, but I want something by telling the story. Either I want to express myself fully, to understand myself better through you, through your understanding. Something I want. there will be always there. If we can discover that want, we will be actually free beings. We would be muktas. That is the whole paradox of the Bhartrihari Svakyapadiya. He says there is a way through linguistics that you can arrive at freedom, because you see how the Pashyanti Vak, that very Pashyanti Vak which comes to you to express yourself in a particular form, way, communication, is realized. I was giving you an example from Tantra, yes? When Abhinavagupta says, I have to go to the village, but it's Mahapashyanti comes to me, oh, I have to go to the village to buy rice. And then to go to the village, I have to do many smaller Pashyantis. I have to close my house, switch off the light, feed the cows, and then buy the ticket for this and go. So all those actions are aligned with the major, bigger action to go to the village and buy some rice. I will do many activities to get there. But he says that Mahapashyanti, to go to the village to buy some rice, is not the end of the story. It's only one portion, because there is a greater Mahapashyanti beyond. I have to buy rice for what? Again, for what? To eat, for what to eat? To live, for what to live? To live the other day, the other year, for what? So, and it grows and grows and grows into the, and he says it joins Sadashiva, the creator on the top, with the greatest intention to manifest the worlds. Yes. And so our worlds are manifested, and in this Pashyantis, in smaller streams comes to us. And in this moment of time, I say this word, and this word defines everything in a particular form. But why? Because there is something, because always something else, some other aim, which is following, which is already intended in this smaller stream, which I don't see. So we just looked at one word and tried to deconstruct that word to see what is the quintessential message or the function of this faculty. It is self-expression for the sake of communication, interaction, desire to achieve something, realization, moving forward, pushing the whole evolution. It is by the word that the whole evolution continues. Yes? By that power of self-expression of the Creator, which we embody in smaller streams. Yeah, that's why we speak what we speak in that moment of time. So the word is self-expression. So it's not just speaking, it's not just the word or language, it is the power of self-expression. Reaching out for something I want to be, to do, to become. Yeah? So we deconstructed the word. Let us look into the other, mind, and try to deconstruct this. What mind is doing really? This is a very good exercise, by the way. It may look like dummy for you that I'm kind of, but truly speaking, once you arrive at this, you yourself, because I may say to you, and then it will go like, it's not yours. You have to kind of make an effort to discover these. We are dealing now with consciousness. Yes, Praveen wanted, or somebody wanted to say. Gita Shri.
Mind is always thinking.
Thinking. What is thinking? Okay. Thinking, good.
It's giving meaning, context to perception, to the management,
Giving or really?
meaning, no, significance.
Significance, meaning to
It gives
context.
the ability to understand and give meaning to things.
You think this is the mind who is understanding? Yeah?
No?
Okay. Yeah. Right. We have to deconstruct more. It's a good direction. We are close. Yes.
Can,
Yeah.
can we say mind is comprehending the word or the self-expression of somebody? Like captures the word?
Captures the word. Maybe word captures the mind. What do you think? Can word capture the thought or not?
Does it select out of the select and give, distinct form to the sea of vibration that is the divine expression?
Right. Very good. It is forming something it does. How does it form that vibration into some particular separate form, cognizable form, recognizable form, distinct form, yeah? Distinction, discernment. How? What does it do for that?
It makes a selection.
Right. How does it select? It's amazing. We are here already. We are very close. I would love to hear more kind of, because not to arrive very fast, because we could cover bigger range and arrive at this very. So how does it select anything? So you want to select something. How do you select? Now you selected this topic we are discussing. If you want to select some other topic, what do you do?
Remember?
Remember, okay, memory.
Memory.
So memory is a kind of a tapestry or the tool. But what do you do to remember something?
You focus.
Focus. What does it mean, focusing, really? Huh?
It's a knowledge, to seek knowledge outwardly or inwardly. I mean, I'm thinking, I put it Icha Yana Kriya Shaktis kind of. It's so now we're in the Yana, I would think, in my way of thinking, but it's
Well,
all about not, the understanding.
understanding follows, but what is selection? Selection is a good word for. So suppose we sometimes we hear this. My mind was elsewhere. Yeah? I was listening to you, but my mind was roaming around somewhere else. What does it mean? What did my mind do? Not to attend to what you said. It did something.
It moved its attention.
Yes, it moved attention to something else. Yeah, it focused on something else. It's concentrated on something else. And that's why it missed that. So now I'm concentrated on the screen, on this picture, talking to you, and I'm not concentrated on that door or on what is going outside or what is going downstairs or what is going in Ukraine or what's going in New York. I'm not. Yeah? It's all off my radar. Yeah. My radar doesn't register that. It withdrew all attention and put it into this. So this capacity of the mind, or the capacity of consciousness to focus on any object or subject of things, is mind. I can select, I can choose what I want to know, what I don't want to know. I can shift my attention, fix it there, and then I arrive at certain understanding, certain distinction of that form as different from other forms, or that meaning as different from other meanings. Distinction, yeah? Cutting out, carving out from this indistinct existence, undifferentiated oneness, we cut out all the time forms. Oh, this is the screen. It is different from the earphones, headset, and this is the mobile, different from headset, different from my hand. I am constantly able to select any form, any distinct event as separate and hold on to it. This capacity to concentrate is the mind. Sri Aurobindo describes this as this. The major power of the mind is concentration. And by the way, the whole Yoga Sutras are about that only, yes? How to develop the power of concentration. So we arrive finally at dharana. From pratyahara, we withdraw all the spread concentration of our mind all over, different events, different interests, our interests, because we everywhere we hooked some kind of connected ourselves through some energy. So we pull back all the energies and we reconstitute the power of our capacity to focus consciousness. And that is, so we kind of draw back to our center, all the threads, we cut them out as, yeah, and pull them back to ourselves. This is pratyahara, and then we have the capacity of dharana. Dharana is the capacity to focus consciousness, and that is the mind. Dharana moves into dhyana, into the capacity of the mind to hold consciousness effortlessly, and finally samadhi, full identification. So knowledge by identity. So to identify me as a subject with any object of sense is the mind. I am deconstructing. I want to find the very characteristic of this, which is different from other character, from the word. If the word is the power of self-expression, then the mind is the power of identifying any object with oneself and knowing it through identity. Agreed or not? If not, then it's a useless exercise. We have to arrive at it, agree with this. Yeah? Or not? What else do you think mind is? Don't hesitate.
I'm confused about the identity part. I mean, if it's carving it out, how is the mind making you one with it?
We cannot identify ourselves with everything at the same time, at least in time and space. No?
Oh, I see. So behind the scenes, if we are cognizing something, there is automatically behind the scenes a oneness with it, or we wouldn't cognize.
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Yes. If I want to deal with this phone, we will come. I will have to identify this phone with myself. Otherwise, I can't.
Okay.
Because there is a bottle on the side and I'm not dealing with it because I didn't identify with it. So this identification of myself with the object of sense, carving it out from these many, many possibilities, focusing on it, my consciousness is actually the power of the mind.
I guess I was confused because the mind also is what gives you the sense of separation from it.
Right.
You're talking about the deeper experience.
Yes, if I want to cognize this phone as separate from my hand and from the table, I will have to do that operation, yes. Distinction. I will have to carve it out in my view. And there will be seeing coming in. So seeing will be that power of the perception of that form, which mind already identify with me. Then I can hold it. I can hold that seeing with me. So, and then I can operate. An operation will start with also with the word, my self-expression, what I want to do with this object, and what it means for me to do it will be the hearing. What I want to express, what meaning I want to bring through it, through that interaction. Yeah, we are very close. Yes, Bill, You want to say?
I don't know why, but mind again, it can either be my friend or my worst enemy.
Oh yeah,
It's
everything, not only mind.
I suppose it's, you know,
Absolutely.
I guess that's why we're in class, and I guess that's what yoga is. So
Yeah. Actually, as Shri Krishna says, only you yourself can be your friend and your enemy. So it's not even mind. Mind will listen to you, whatever you will do with it. Yeah? These are the technologies of consciousness. They totally obey our kind of abuse, misuse, or proper use. Yeah? They will just do anything. They do not have their own separate will to influence us. They're instrumental to us. So, but I wanted to find out those quintessential characteristics because we will arrive at this profound vision of secret operations of consciousness. So, if I consider this self-expression as major faculty, and then faculty of holding any image of things in order to know it by identity, this is the manas and vak, yeah, deconstructed, then hearing and seeing would be, how would we define them? We already did, but I want to, again to see the difference, the quintessential difference of these activities of consciousness. So one is need of self-expression, other is need of focusing, carving out on one particular detail of this infinite being in order to know it through identity, and others too. Chakshukh and Shrotram, what would you say? What is the difference between seeing and hearing?
Seeing is seeing the thing in itself, and hearing is seeing it in the context of the whole. It's overall.
Lovely. Absolutely marvelous definition. Oh, I will use it. Thank you. I will use your definition with reference to you. Seeing as it is and seeing in the context of the need, of the action upon that in time and space. Hearing is always beyond the immediate seeing. Always. If I see the phone, just see the phone, yeah? But what I can do with the phone, I can call someone and talk. It's beyond this. It's not visible in the phone. It's something which I can apply to the vaster context in time and space, both. It can go beyond this immediate time. Seeing is only in this particular time.
Vladimir, I mean, in the study of the Vedas or Shrutis, the students are generally trying to hear the Vedas, and then through hearing, they are trying to see. So, how in that case, can we not say that hearing is seeing? We are hearing the Shruti mantras and trying to see the divine. So, how is that different from seeing? Then we are saying that uh, seeing is in time and space. I understand that. But then at the absolute level, how would both be different?
Yes, in absolute level, you can see that seeing is seeing the form, rupa, whereas hearing hears the nama, the name. And nama name is actually what this rupa can do, yeah, to all other rupas in the world. Yeah, this
So
telephone can do many things.
can we say that through hearing the Shrutis, we try to see in the mind? For example,
Now,
for
something
example,
I
if
have
there
to
is,
say, yes,
okay.
that all these are simultaneous in our consciousness. We are now splitting them for the sake of knowing better how consciousness operates. They are simultaneous. When you hear something, you start seeing. When you see something, you start understanding. So Shrotram hearing is more connected to comprehension, whereas seeing chakshus is more apprehensive cognition, cognizing the form without knowing what this form can really do, because simultaneously, immediately, there will be an comprehensive cognition of hearing. So when you see the phone, you know immediately that you can call, you can send message, you can receive call, you can, even if it's heavy, you can use it as a hammer. You can do many things with this phone, and it's a glass. It can crack if it falls. You know it simultaneously, without really spelling it out. But you see only the phone. So we split this. So on one side, we have apprehensive cognition, this manas and chakshu. We hold the image of things in order to know it. On the other, we understand what this thing is about and how we can use it. We can express ourselves towards it in subjective way. I can throw this phone, I can use it to call someone. It is up to me. Yeah. So we have two powerful comprehensive agents. One is self-expression, other is understanding how this thing relates to all other things in order to use it. That meaning comes from this side, from Shrotram and Vak. And on the other side, we have Rupam, meaning of the usage. Yeah, that's how relation, so somebody said that relation to define is relative. And this one is direct evidence of the truth. Yeah, you have it. The form is here. Yeah? It's the self present. So the seeing is much more concrete and much more direct. In a Russian proverb, they say better to see once than to hear 100 times. Meaning that, exactly. Yes, when you see, it's already there embodied. It's the being. On one side, there is a being. On the other side is the spirit. Atman and Brahman, if you will. Being and consciousness, if you will. Of course, it's all consciousness. But still, if you have to split the hair, it will be that. So you perceive the being, you deal with the being on one side, and you understand what this being is about. Yeah. Overload, no? Not overload. Good. Praveen is silent. That means
I think this is really amazing.
yeah, it's all in Upanishads. It's all inbuilt here. Why I'm dwelling on this again, because we did this exercise, by the way, the other day, but doing it again and again doesn't really, you don't feel that I'm repeating myself, no?
No, this is great today. I like this.
So if you look at these, Sri Aurobindo speaks about secret operations. Now we are arriving at this, and it will be much clearer after defining those quintessential characteristics. There are secret operations in us of our subconscious and superconscious selves, which precede any action, in this case this action, but of these we are not aware in our surface being, and therefore for us they do not exist. If we knew of them, our whole conscious functioning would be changed. Now, these are the four operations I'm taking from that long list in Aitareya: samjnana, ajnana, vijnana, and prajnana. And you can see everywhere jnana word is used. In Hindi, they will say gyan or something else. Jan in Gujarati, everyone has his own distortion of this word, but it is jnana, jnana. So I will be sticking with pronunciation which is never met in India. Indians feel shrinking from this, but I still stick to it. Some jnana, ajnana, vijnana, prajnana. You can see prefixes are only different. Jnana is everywhere the same. So what is jnana? Jnana, according to you, do you know?
It's knowledge.
Knowledge, knowledge, jnana, the same etymology, by the way. Gnosis, yeah, the same etymology. Gno, kna, and jna. Interesting. It's Indo-European word. Jnana is actually this, yes, gnosis, so gnostic, some kind of awareness or self-awareness or consciousness, or Sri Aurobindo translates this as self-realization. So when you are realized, that is jnana. You are not thinking about it, you're not discovering it, you are already it. And that is jnana. You embody the state of new quality of consciousness, and that is knowledge. So some jnana means knowledge, absolute knowledge, yeah, from all sides, collecting all. Ajnana, towards knowledge, self-realization towards someone. Vijnana is realization in detail, in all possible relations, in all possible opposites. Prajnana, the self-realization forward, directly, objectively, as it were. Now we are coming to these definitions. Oh my God, the time is gone. Everything begins with vibration, says Sri Aurobindo. It's a well-known quotation. I'm always using it because there is no better definition of samjnana than this. Everything begins with vibration, the original kshobha, or disturbance. If there is no movement of the conscious being, it can only know its own pure static existence. Without vibration of movement of being in consciousness, there can be no act of knowledge and therefore sense. Without vibration or movement of being in force, there can be no object of sense. That's it. Sense and the object of sense depend on the movement of being in consciousness and force. If being does not move in consciousness, there is no sense. If being does not move in force, there is no object of sense. So this consciousness force generates one movement, of sense and the object of sense. The sense and object of sense are one product of consciousness force. And now we are arriving at samjnana. Movement of conscious being as knowledge, becoming sensible of itself as movement of force, in other words, the knowledge separating itself from its own working to watch that action by force and to take it into itself again by feeling, is the basis of universal samjnana. So that which is one, separating its own awareness from that action of force which was that awareness, and now perceives as a new, as if it never knew what it was, discovers it. And that creates what we know as samjnana, the basis of this universal sense, essential sense. It is true both for our internal and external operations. It is true for both, outside and inside. So, as you know, knowledge power which generates all these worlds. On one side, all the objects, on the other side, all the meanings of those objects, how they can relate, which are expressed in our mentality, in our words, in the name. And so comprehensive and apprehensive cognition, again, they split. And so comprehension, again, it kind of looks at this form which it created as if it never created it. And by that, it discovers it anew, as it were. And this is the whole process of creation, actually, in one sentence, or in two sentences, in three. Counting sentences. He explains this in a better way. I become anger by a vibration of conscious force acting as nervous emotion, and I feel the anger that I have become by another movement of conscious force acting as a light of knowledge. So, wait a minute. So I vibrate, I am angry, and I know that I am angry because that consciousness force is actually acting in me. I am conscious of my body because I have become the body. That the same force of conscious being, which has made this form of itself, this presentation of its workings, knows it in that form, in that presentation. I can know nothing except what I myself am. If I know others, it is because they are also myself. Because myself has assumed these apparently alien presentations as well as that which is nearest to my own mental center. All sensation, all action of sense is thus the same in essence, whether external or internal, physical or psychical. And this is actually fundamental view on the knowledge by identity. Yes? I am conscious of my body because I have become the body. I can know nothing except what I myself am. There is no other knowledge, ever. So this is the basis for samjnana, total identity with oneself. Otherwise, how would I know if I don't identify with myself, this form? Form is elsewhere. I don't know it. I know something else in the meanwhile.
So by the very same token, Vladimir, that you said, I am the body because I've identified myself with the body. That also means that I'm not the body, but the self is something else. And when I identify myself with the mind, I become the mind.
This is the split on the nature and the spirit, which took place later in the post-Vedic literature and philosophy. And that separation on the matter and the spirit, which you now beautifully represent, that if I identify myself with the body, then I am not the body. Why not? I am the consciousness of the body which identifies itself, and I am also many other things, with whatever things I can identify. So that separation which takes place is not necessarily the final truth. It's maybe kind of what do you call it? Functional for our mind truth, kind of truth in transition, truth which helps us to understand that I am not the body, though how could it be ever that I am not the body?
So the question is, what is the self? Because if we take that who am I, the question to that, if we just say that, let's substitute it with another entity and say that I am the self. Now we are saying the self is identifying with the body, it becomes the body, and self is identifying with various things, it becomes that. Then that means I'm always transitioning. The question is still, Yeah, then it says that we are in the temporary world. But when can we get an eternal Swarupa? What is the process by which we can get a Swarupa which is Nitya? Right now, it seems that we are always changing the forms because we keep on taking newer and newer forms in every birth. So that only shows that the self is still not the Atman. I don't know. But
Self is the Atman, yes. If I know others, it is because they are also myself. Here, there's something which we cannot comprehend because for our mental operations, it's easier to separate self and the object with which we identify. This is how it operates. But if you can just comprehend that I am everything with which I can identify myself, then there is one more step away from that kind of separation, functional separation, which is needed. And I totally agree. It's needed to operate and to understand by the mind. But then you step into the truth, and the truth, I become anger, yeah, by one vibration of conscious force acting as nervous emotion, as a force, and I feel that anger that I have become by another movement of conscious force. Now, where is the body? It is the anger. Now we are speaking about the anger. The body is here just because it is happening in the body. It is happening in this world altogether, in this huge universe. This anger is being perceived. You know? And by identity with this anger and feeling it by that very conscious force as the vibration and knowing it what it is, understanding what it is, by the very conscious force which generated this anger, where am I in all this? Who am I then?
Aren't we all of it?
All of it, wonderful. This is myself. There are many selves which I've chose to focus only on one detail or the other detail, or generate this understanding or that understanding. And it all flows through me and through the universe. And I'm selecting this or that, and by that selection, I have an illusion that I am different from what I am identified with. Because I can select, I can move from one to another. My mind allows me to shift my focus, and by that shift of focus, I generate this sense of being different from everything.
But then, Vladimir, in the Gita also, it is spoken about the Kshetra. Somebody's pain is somebody's pain, or somebody's happiness is somebody's happiness. Then why cannot a patient with a specific condition feel happiness just by identifying himself with?
Absolutely, why not? Can. By the way, this speech, our word, especially in this in the poetic language, is very powerfully expressing this very thing. If you read Shakespeare, he would say, my eyes betrayed me, or my tongue carried me away. Who tongue is carrying away? Whose eyes are betraying whom? So this is an amazing kind of world we are living in. We found the focal points. We focus consciousness on different movements, actions, and we consider them to be ours, as it were. And instead of selecting those as ours, we have to see that all the movements are ours already, by default. only because of that separation and that selection by the mind, we consider it to be not ours. It's like that, the beginning of Isha Upanishad, yes? Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. All this is for habitation by the Lord, whatever exists in the universal motion. Therefore, Jagatyam, Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. Jagatyam Jagat. Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita. Therefore, enjoy all this as the Lord enjoys it, being free from attachment to it. Magridach, don't grab, don't select, don't say that this is mine and that is not mine. Kasya Svidhanam, because whose wealth is it? And this is the inbuilt answer. It is already your wealth as the Lord. It's all given, it's granted, it's by default yours. And you think that it's not mine, this is mine. Yeah? This is my happiness, this is my unhappiness. I will deal with that. This is his happiness, and this is my unhappiness. Yes? Let's separate the two. And truly speaking, there's discovery of consciousness is awaiting us in the future, I guess. We start
I
with
saw
these.
a similar,
Hmm?
sorry, Vladimir. I saw a similar mantra for moon, and it seems to be something very peculiar, as you said, as you were saying that everything in the world is ours, and it was describing about mind, and it was describing in a way that everything is achieved already in the mind. For example, I just pasted that mantra here, and it says that my mind is already peaceful and it is already having the greatest joy. I don't know how to understand this. This is similar to what you just mentioned. Um, but it is saying as if everything is already achieved, as if I
Yes.
have the greatest
It is
safety.
achieved and it is not yet achieved, and this is the puzzle. Achieved in the highest sense, because in the highest sense you are what you are, and the whole universe is that Mahapashyanti of Sadashiva, of which you are the smallest stream here, and have your selection, action, place in this orchestra. You play your note or you play your drums once, and that's it, and the whole music is sounding, yes. But if you look at this music as your own expression of consciousness, you can enjoy all the notes, all the players, all the the whole symphony you can enjoy. And this capacity to enjoy the symphony of all the sounds, is a higher capacity of consciousness. For that, we have to be free to the extent that we see what Sri Aurobindo sees here. I become angered by a vibration of conscious force acting as a nervous emotion. Can you see it in yourself like this? And I feel the anger that I have become in that moment by another movement of conscious force acting as a light of knowledge. Can you imagine such a state in which you really embody this? It's a mukti, freedom.
It's I don't know. I just thought of an analogy. I don't know if it's appropriate to share, but
Yes, please.
I live on the street I live on is called Mountain Creek Church Road. You know, it's a little mountain creek. It's like my mind. Mountain Creek doesn't have that much power. It can't go back within or see everything. It's lacking Shakti, so to say. So at some point, if you build a dam, you know, and start, all of a sudden you get a giant lake. And there I have the power to maybe start to see that mukti or that freedom, Vladimir, you know, with grace, but combination of building a dam on a mountain creek to get that giant lake where the mind becomes powerful in itself enough combined with grace to then turn within. Does that make any sense at all? Boy,
Sounds poetic. Yeah, beautiful. Anyhow, so we I know I am over time. I don't want to abuse your time frame. Maybe what we will do, you think about this, yeah? I know this is thinking about this doesn't help because our mind is focusing. So every time we focus, we lose the vastness. But there are ideas. There are this wonderful oneness of the knowledge and power, and everything which embodies here in power, in the object, has its own so to say, knowledge of itself. It knows how to be, as one can say. Everything knows how to be itself. The bottle knows how to be itself and hold that, water in it. Computer knows how to be itself and to very complex way to send these electrical signals which generate these colors, these sounds and everything, and project the whole beautiful picture. Everything knows how to, the wooden table knows how to stand properly. Everything, this earth, me, myself, my hand, my nervous system, your nervous system, everything is connected in oneness of relations and knows how to be. Stars know how to move where they have to move. Everything knows itself. Stone knows how to be the stone and to stand there still, that you can stumble over it. So, and recognize it, that, oh, this is the stone. It's so wonderful. Look at this wonder stone. It is the stone after all. It knows to be the stone. It's me knowing to be the stone. This is the consciousness which we have to acquire one day.
I think we are a knowledge bank by ourselves, since we are a spark of the divine. We have the Atma and we have the being in us. And it is so vast, we have to recognize that consciousness and bring it together. And it is our choice and the force of the divine grace and the will that it is up to us to be or not to be. And to join this is to a bigger and vaster understanding is our mission,
Our destiny.
our destiny. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Wonderfully said. Great. I think we will look into these for next time, and this will be our final, and I will connect then all these to something else for the final kind of yes, and then we will see where it belongs and why it is there and what it does to us and where these mind word are coming from. What are these combinations of these movements of consciousness generate those which we know as word, mind, seeing, hearing, why they are there in that form. All right, okay, so all the best. Namaste. See you then next time.
Thank you, Vladimir.
Thank you.